Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome to Let's Play Metroid Prime 2. In the last episode we cleaned up the rest of the items and found the rest of the Sky Temple keys. We have every item, every temple key. We're only missing a couple scans, but unfortunately we'll not be able to get those in this playthrough. So, the last thing left for us to do is take the fight of the Sky Temple. So we're going to be heading to the portal right over here in order to do that. This is the only one through which you can access the Sky Temple Gateway. So hit up this portal. It's going to ruin our perfect ammo counts, which we could fix using some ammo, but it's not too big of a deal. So we head over this way, and you can come back to the Sky Temple Gateway without all of the keys, but I personally like waiting until I have all of them in order to activate this cutscene, because I just think the cutscene that we have coming up looks a lot cooler if you have, if you just turn in the keys all at once. So we'll get to see that in a few moments once we get through this area. This is going to be too difficult, or it's too high for us to do a single bomb jump over. But we're back here at the gateway. We step into the light, and we will place all of the keys in their respective locks. So they've all been returned. We can now enter the Sky Temple. It's actually the first time that we really looked up and seen it. You can't really get a good angle from here on the ground, but nothing else left to do. Let's go and take the fight to them. So we actually spawned right in at the energy controller itself. The temple's not all that big, so there's a planetary energy right there. But before we can actually go and steal it, Ing drags it through the ceiling, so not much we can do there. There is a save point up back here on the ledge, so feel free to take that. Will restore your energy. Not that we were really hurting for energy, but can't hurt. So, in order to get to the other side, we will need to screw attack. And I did it a little too high and I hit my head on the ceiling. So let's try this again. This time I won't try to do any trick shots to open the door before I get close. But in here, got more screw attack walls. And in this room will be the last boss. This is the core of the final dark energy controller. The last collection of planetary energy lies within the core. Once we return it with the energy transfer module, the world will become heavily unstable. But of course, We're not going to be able to claim it without some sort of resistance. Say hello to the Emperor Ing. Does not, you know, have the most attractive face. It's just a giant eye at this point. You have, I think, a total of 4 different scans to get in this fight. The first here is the Emperor Ing body. Ruler of the Ing Horde. Target is drawing energy from the unstable energy controller. Eliminating target's connection to the energy may be an effective strategy. Bioscans indicate that this is the eldest, strongest Ing in the Horde, the Alpha and the Omega. It has absorbed enormous amounts of phazon energy into its body, mutating itself in the process. Apparently, this power is not enough for the creature, as it is now siphoning energy from the final energy controller. So, you can also scan its eye. So this is technically the head. Ruler of the Ing Horde. Target will form numerous tentacles to defend itself, eliminate them to weaken its defenses. Like its brethren, the Emperor Ing is a metamorph. It has molded itself around the precious energy controller and will defend it to the death, using its own body as a shield and a weapon. Destroy the tentacles it generates to weaken the creature and its defenses. So, in this stage, if you have a lot of ammo, which we do, you can actually use uncharged annihilator shots, and they will home in on these tentacles, making them really easy to hit. So alternatively, if you are running low on ammo and don't want to use the annihilator beam, you can also use missiles. They're also pretty effective. For this phase, I mistimed it. This is the actual eye, I believe. Yeah. So unstable Ing biomass. Central eye is protected by a potent barrier shield. The shield does not provide complete coverage, however. Although not completely, the eye can be locked onto, but only direct shots will get past the shield. So you have to shoot in the slits between the middle. Yeah, okay, I'm not having good luck with these. Yeah, I just wasted a lot of ammo. I was trying to use the sonic boom on it because it does a lot of damage and it's pretty effective. But it's probably, you know, overkill for what you really need to do with this. Basically, 4 super missiles will work. I'm really not doing a good job of hitting it. There we go. Usually you can get like 2 super missiles in before it regenerates. Yeah, see, I just barely didn't have enough time for that one. So the tentacles will try to whip you. It also will like to play jump rope with you. Jump rope is not too difficult to avoid. It will also do an attack where it sticks the tentacles through like portals. You can actually still shoot them while it's doing that attack. But once you get its health down, it's going to go into a second phase. This is the chrysalis phase. I'm going to scan it here in a second. The main concern that you have in this phase is that throughout this phase, the poison gas will keep rising, and you obviously do get hurt by that. Even though we have the light suit at this point. But this is the Emperor Chrysalis. Regenerating Ing Ruler. Target's regen cell is magnetically charged. 11 weak points have been detected. Target them with concussive blasts to shatter the regen shell. The heavily damaged Emperor Ing is entered a regenerative state inside a durable healing shell. Tactical stands have detected 11 weak points, so you can travel on it with the spider ball. So the most effective way to take care of these spots is to use power bombs where applicable, and sometimes you can hit multiple ones if you time it well. Otherwise, you can just use normal bombs as well. Though the power bombs will take them out instantly. So yeah, there you go. I got 2 of them there. So yeah, you're not really going to be using power bombs the fight otherwise, so it doesn't hurt. Yeah, there are inglets crossing, like crawling along the surface, and you can defeat them to get health back. So usually this phase will not hurt too much. The only real crap! Now I can't see. Did I get? Yeah, I got both of them. Oh jeez. Okay, so. Oh man, this is what happens when you take too long on this phase. The fog makes it very difficult to see well. But once you hit all 11 of those spots, you will get to the final phase of the fight. And I just want to comment right here that all of this music is great. This particular track, I really like. So this is Emperor Ing's final form, which is called Mutated Emperor Ing. Altered ruler of the Ing Horde. Further phase-on mutation of the Emperor Ing has occurred. The creature seems to only take damage when its heart is light or dark. Find a way to change the heart to one of these colors. Now, I think this is in both versions. There's a way to actually damage the Emperor Ing with the screw attack, and it actually will kill it almost instantly. Though I'm not really well practiced with it, so I'm probably not going to try to go for it. But further exposure to Phazon has mutated the Emperor Ing. The creature's energized heart is unstable. Beams of opposite polarity can damage the heart. Overloading the heart with energy may cause it to exceed critical mass. So, your basic goal with this phase is you're going to use the power beam when its face looks orange here, and you can actually use super missiles to accomplish that, and that will actually immediately change it. So just like with many of the enemies that have shields, you just have to shoot the opposite colored beam at it in order to hit it. Now, when it goes to the purple one, you're supposed to hit it with the light beam. I advise using the light beam because it does a good amount of damage. If it does the dark beam one, where it has a light color, so it'll be white, like its face will turn white. I usually just use the annihilator beam on that because it's a lot easier to hit than the dark beam shots are for that. I don't know how I'm using the missiles for this. It can be somewhat difficult to hit its face when it's moving around, so nope. There we go. So yeah, it's doing the light one. So and I just use uncharged shots here because you can see it's actually sapping its health quite a bit. We got it all the way down to half health off that. Yeah, okay. So got that one down. It will start moving faster the more that you get its health lower, so you'll have fewer opportunities to attack, and that makes the dark beam even harder to hit. So that one particular attack, it has two variants. One uses the dark beam, the other uses the light beam. Both will effectively do the same thing. If you get low on ammo, which you can see is happening to me, it will spit out some enemies that will drop ammo for you when defeated. So yeah, I'm probably gonna run out of ammo before I can get into damage. I can get into damage. There is Phazon all around the room, so if you get knocked into the edge of the room, yeah, so that's what you can do to get the ammo. I need the light beam. Yeah, I need light beam. Please. Oh, see, yeah, I took too long, so now it's going back to yeah. So I'm surprised it actually hasn't done that attack before. That one's kind of annoying to deal with. But you just got to be patient. So this should be the last phase that we need to take it out. And that is the Emperor Ing. As far as difficulty goes, it's probably a little more challenging than Metroid Prime. I'm not the biggest fan of the second phase of the Metroid Prime fight, so I feel like overall this is a lot better of a fight. Metroid Prime 2 had some really solid bosses overall. Some of the mini bosses actually were probably the most annoying ones of the bunch. But now that Emperor Ing is defeated, the planetary energy is ours for the taking. And unlike the other temples, we just kind of stick our gun straight into this one. There's no controller that we interface with. But as the scan earlier said, once we remove the planetary energy, this dimension is going to become unstable. So in typical Metroid fashion, we have an escape sequence on our hands. So yeah, you might be thinking, this seems like a really generous timer. They don't usually give you this much time, except for the frigate escape in Prime 1, but that was a pretty long escape. Because, we don't really have all that far to go. The temple's not that big of a place, and, it didn't take us that long to get here from the portal. Well, as you'll see in a few moments, there's a good reason for that. I think this is actually an automated cutscene. We don't get to get control here. So something feels off. And guess who it is? It's Dark Samus, and she looks really creepy. So, yeah, psych. The final boss is actually Dark Samus and not Emperor Ing. So, in this particular fight with Dark Samus, there are 2 scans that you will need to get. One right off the bat here, which is called Dark Samus 3. Dark Samus, supercharged with Phazon energy. Targets Phazon energy, weaponry, and defense systems are at full power. Phazon exposure has rendered Dark Samus invisible to your dark visor. Scans indicate that Dark Samus has absorbed tremendous levels of Phazon into her body. Too much, perhaps. She can vent Phazon energy in the form of destructive blasts and protective shields. Doing so will help her maintain stability. Exposure to Phazon has rendered her invisible to the dark visor. These new abilities, combined with her already formidable arsenal, place Dark Samus at the highest threat level. So, starting off here, she's gonna do this thing where she goes up into the sky and kind of shoots this laser at you. You can't damage her while she's doing this, so you just have to kind of avoid it. Now once she lands on the ground, you will need to use the Echo Visor to target her. She still will repel missiles like before. Dark Beam is still probably your best bet to use against her. And pretty much it. Now the nice thing is we still have some Dark Beam ammo left after the Emperor Ing fight, because we use primarily the Light Beam and the Annihilator Beam, so we still have some of that left. Once you get her health down to about 3/4 is when you'll start the second phase of this fight. There is a way to skip it, but it's pretty difficult to pull off, so I'm just gonna go for fighting her conventionally. So yeah, once she flies up into the middle here, this is when the 4th phase, or I guess the fourth scan is available. So, target can generate shield immune to all forms of attack except Phazon energy. Draw an expelled Phazon for use as a weapon. So, she can generate a shield that's movable to all attacks, save for 1. Use your charge beam to collect Phazon energy that she expels, then fire it back at her. So, basically your goal is going to be to collect these bullets here, and I wasn't in a good position to do that, and fire them back at her. Not the only way that you can hurt her while she has this shield up. She's going to launch missiles at you. We have so much health. We could probably like tank all of these hits if we really wanted to, but these bullets can be a bit finicky, because you do kind of get hurt by them some, so she's basically going to be doing this attack most of the time throughout the rest of the fight. Unfortunately, you have a little bit of time when she's on the ground to attack her, but not much. So really, this is just a test of patience. Yeah, I mean, obviously the boss fights on the... see, I didn't stand in the right position to collect those. Oh, did I seriously miss? Oh, that sucks. You're really only at risk of like failing here if you really suck at collecting the bullets. And I think they give you some room to mess up, but it's still it could be better, you know. I would have preferred just kind of the third phase of the fight for the entire fight instead of this. Or at the very least, make this only happen for like the last, I don't know, quarter of her health bar instead of the whole thing. So otherwise, it's just kind of like strafe to dodge the missiles. Use the super missile when she lands. And then, you know, rinse, repeat. See, I just don't, I don't like how finicky it is. That's another thing that makes this part of the fight just not great. That it just doesn't work sometimes, and it's really not clear why. So we might not finish it in the next round, to be honest. We're going to be cutting it close here. Yeah, not if we mess that up. You can see how much damage we're actually taking. Like, I'm not getting hit by like most of the missiles. Ow! Just freaking miss it again. There we go. Should get it this next time, but we're cutting it closer than I usually do in terms of the time. Like, they give you a lot of time for this. Come on! It's just stupid now. See, like, that pixel of health. Okay. So that's it. I wish there was more to talk about at the end of the fight there, but it's literally just the same thing over and over again. Now, the beam that you end the fight with will stay for the rest of these cutscenes, which is kind of an interesting thing. So you can kind of choose which one you end it with. But Yeah, hopefully we've defeated Dark Samus for good this time. You know, she's taken 3 beatings from us now. And that was almost creepy. Well, actually, it was still plenty creepy, but now we have a problem though. We can't get back to that portal. That wall of Phazon that Dark Samus created is still there. But hey, you remember that one portal that we saw when we were getting the secret missile that we couldn't use for whatever reason? Well, there's a reason. You know, Chekhov's gun, it exists for a purpose. But I still think that's a pretty cool cutscene. And the game is generous. You don't have to keep escaping after defeating Dark Samus. The timer just kind of ends as long as you finish the fight. But now that we're gone, the Dark World has collapsed. And is officially gone forever. The interesting thing about this cutscene, like the sky changes, but apparently Umos woke up some of the other Luminoth here. But he did it before we actually succeeded, though, because they were already awake. But Samus returns the 2 suits because she's nice like that. But we do technically get to keep the beam, even if, in the next game she doesn't have it. But she's just like, no problem. I do one of these every week. So, this right here is the 75% ending. So the game would normally just cut to the credits if you didn't get 75% after she walks into the light at the end of the previous cutscene. Now, I will admit, this is probably my least favorite rendering of her in the Prime trilogy. Prime 1's rendering was not great by current standards, but this one just looks strange for whatever reason. The Prime 3 one is definitely the best of the 3, but yeah, it's kind of just whatever, but now we get credits. So, oh man, this LP was fun. I mean, I really love these games. I was kind of hoping that I would get through this one without missing scans that I'd have to go and replay the game to get, but is, too good of a wish to be true. But this game actually probably is my favorite of the Prime trilogy to actually get the logbook completion in. I'm not sure why. Prime 1, I just don't usually go around and scan things a lot. I think mostly because a lot of my time spent in that game has been speedrunning it, which I don't do for Prime 2 or Prime 3. So maybe that's part of the reason why. I just really like the organization of the logbook. When you're scanning things and it shows the percentages that come up, I really like that feature. And Prime 3 removes that, so maybe that's part of the reason why. But the LP as a whole, I thought it was pretty good. I definitely made a few blunders in terms of I had a route that I was planning and trying to follow, and I messed it up a couple times. But hey, look, it's built right in. But overall, I like Prime 2. I think it was a good sequel. It you know, is different, and I like that. You know, it doesn't just do what Prime 1 did. It does fall into kind of a little bit more linearity than Prime 1, just in terms of, you know, there's a distinct order the game wants you to do things, and you can break that order, but you know, sequence breaking is a little less intended, I guess, than it is in some of the other games. But you know, I still really like it. I think it's a really solid sequel. I had some pretty good boss fights, all things considered. Some of them went pretty well. Other fights, there's actually probably more of the regular fights with enemies that I think I had some troubles with, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I really like the Prime trilogy as a whole, and you know, some might say like, oh well, you know, this game isn't all that original because, you know, there are other games that have done the whole light world, dark world thing before, but you know, at least the game pulls it off well, I think. It does, you know, plenty of its own things and does them really well. And you know, we got some cool upgrades in this one as well. The Seeker Missile. I don't use the Seeker Missile regularly, nearly as much as I probably should. It's actually a pretty cool upgrade. You know, we got the Screw Attack in the 3D games. In this one, you know, I remember thinking at the time, like, I don't know how they would, you know, translate the Screw Attack into 3D, but you know, they managed to make it work in an interesting way. And they got more creative with like the spider ball tracks and that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of cool things in this game. Also had some really great music. You know, Kenji Yamamoto did the soundtrack for the 3 Prime games, and they're just all so great. And yeah, I'm trying to think of more things to say. These are some pretty long credits, although I'm getting to the end, so you know, I managed to talk through pretty much all of them, and I was just barely running out of things to say. So we got our mission complete screen here. Yeah, that was kind of slow. 7:28, you know, it's an okay time. I think I was doing a practice run for this, and I got like a sub 7 hours. I can actually go to the menu and show it off after this, but you know, 100% completed the items. Now I can play it on hyper mode if I really want to. But first things first, you know, we gotta watch the 100% ending. And guess who's not dead? So yeah, we will save here because I'll need to start another file to get the stuff that I missed. But yeah, it's interesting. The first 100% cutscene, and you know, spoilers for the first 100% ending for Prime, you know, shows Dark Samus kind of being born, and then this one shows her coming back. So yeah, I really like the continuity there in terms of, you know, technically been fighting the same enemy from the first game, because Dark Samus kind of came from Metroid Prime. So we're back here at the menu, and at 7:28. So yeah, 6:58 was the time that I got on my practice file when I was preparing for this run. So yep, that is Metroid Prime 2 in all its entirety. Next up, I will do a bonus video where I'll show off the unlockable content for Prime 2, as well as the scans that I missed. And then beyond that, next up is Metroid Prime 3. So, don't think I really have much else to say. So thank you very much for watching my Let's Play of Metroid Prime 2. I've been redxparasite, signing out.